Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ohio State Call-In Show. I'm your co-host, Ryan Stano.
I'm Garrison Gaddy. But right before we get started here, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't yet, as always, people, please check out our website where you can find myself, Ryan, and everyone else here at the network. All of the shows we have, the hosts, the writers, we all have it here for you. It's updated daily here with news articles. Just of course, concising all the news into about 250 characters or less. It's really helpful to read. So yeah, be sure to check that out. And also, if you'd like to become a member and check out some of the future content we have, or just the memberships that we have, check out press join. Actually, you'll see that we have our 3 tiers. We're in the Blocko Club, where JT wasn't. I almost said JT was short. JT wasn't
Not short.
JT wasn't short, and we don't give a damn, and you know the rest. Ryan?
Yeah, so, we last talked on Monday. I'll go ahead and put the chat link in here for you guys. Oh, you already did. Perfect. But go ahead and call in with your questions, comments. Love to talk to you guys. I know we had quite a few questions on Monday that we couldn't really get to, so hoping you guys have those fired up for us today. But not a whole lot has happened in terms of news except for one big item that I wanted to talk to you about. And I know you and I feel the same about this news item. So, Ryan Day had an interview with ESPN talking about the future of the college football playoff format. And he is someone who believes that the Big Ten deserves to have 4 automatic bids. He is in favor of the 4-4-2-2-1 format, which essentially gives the Big Ten and the SEC 4 automatic at-large bids, as opposed to the 5 and 11 model, which is 5 automatic qualifiers and 11 at-larges. Garrison, your reaction to Ryan Day's preference on the future of the CFP?
I'll let you go first because I might be wrong.
Okay, okay. You know what? I'll keep mine relatively simple. Both you and I have been vocal on this show
Mhm.
about how we feel about the future of the college football playoff and the proposed formats. Both of us prefer a 5 and 11 model, one that gives an automatic qualifying for each conference champion, the 4 Power 4, and then one outside the Power 4, the highest rated conference champion, and then the 11 at larges. That is the most equitable way to figure out who should be in the college football playoff. There's a good chance that 4 Big Ten teams get in most of those years anyway. The Big Ten is one of the two most powerful conferences along with the SEC. So in most years, you don't necessarily need a guaranteed number of teams because those teams will have risen to the top anyway. The cream rises to the top, and Ohio State and IU and Penn State and Oregon all made the playoff last year. They got 4 teams in anyway. So the odds of that would only increase with a 16-team playoff. Now, I understand why Ryan Day is saying this. He, you know, he works for the Big Ten, and the Big Ten is in the business of trying to make as much money as possible by trying to get as many teams in as possible. So I understand why he feels that he has to side with the conference on this issue. I don't agree. I know there's a decent section of the Ohio State fan base that doesn't agree. And, you know, the Big Ten's still holding on to this 4-4-2-2-1 format. And I never thought I'd say this, but it seems like it's down to the SEC to do what's for the good of college football, which is a sentence that makes my skin crawl. Your thoughts?
So again, we've talked about this plenty of time. We've laid out everything we think about this. But so earlier today, I posted a picture of Ryan Day and what he said, and I said he's wrong. Coach is just wrong. And a few of the comments I got. Shout out to Bugsy's dad. Like he commented and talked about, which I saw too, what Juck talked about, and basically saying it's not a bad idea. Essentially, okay, essentially saying that it's basically the opposite of what me and you have been saying and what other fans have been saying. Of course, there is a section of the fan base that does agree with that they're okay with it, and that is in the it's good for Ohio State, and that Ryan Day is, someone else said Ryan Day is just, towing the company line. So this is how I feel about that. Ohio State, all the conferences all the teams in the programs need the conference to an extent. Okay, every single one of them does. With that being said, four automatic bids doesn't help or hurt Ohio State. If you win your games, if you win your big games, you will be there. It's not a matter of if, Ryan. It's a matter of when. There's going to be a season where the Big Ten third or fourth best team has 4 losses. It's football. It happens. We've seen it happen before. There is no way on God's green earth that team who's ranked, who's third or fourth in the Big Ten with 4 losses should be in the college football playoff. Because chances are, if you have 4 losses, you lost all your big games or you lost most of them. There's no way around that. And I told them, I said, when you do that, what you are doing is creating you're nurturing hard work not paying off. That is what you are essentially saying. There are teams who are going to go 10-2. There are teams there's a season where a Navy goes 10-2, right?
Yeah. You know what? By the way, we were having these conversations last year with Army, before late in the season.
We were. So let's say that happens, and then let's say Penn State's 8-4 that season. They lose 2 of their big games and win one of them. I will stand on top of the hill and tell you, Penn State does not deserve to be in there. I don't care if their strength of schedule is. I don't care who they beat just because they beat. Let's say they beat a Michigan who's number 5 in the nation. Army or Navy doesn't have a win as big as that. I don't give a damn. You have 4 losses, and there's a team out there who took on what was on their schedule. They basically went through it with ease to an extent. If you're at 10-2, you deserve to be in that playoff or get a shot. 4-loss teams don't deserve it. Now, when you talk about 16 teams, there's a really good chance, more times than not, there's going to be a 3-loss team. I'm okay with that. If you play a tough schedule, you win some really good games. I'm fine with that. But I don't want to hear this, Ryan Day has a tiptoe the line. I'm not trying to hear, it's good for the Big Ten. If Ohio State wins their games, Ohio State doesn't need the help of the Big Ten to make the college football playoff, and they never should. And as soon as we start saying that, it looks kitty cat. I'll say it that way.
No, it does. It does.
So shout out to my guy Jug. I love him. He knows I love him. But that take. I said on X. You're handing out participation trophies.
No, that is the case. And if you are one of the top 16 teams in the country, you should be able to make it there on merit. You should be able to make it there based off of your resume, what you put forth in the regular season, and what you go ahead and put on tape, and based off of the teams that you beat. So I think that this is a, for lack of a better term, a Mickey Mouse way of trying to determine the college football champion. Because look, if there's one thing that we know about college football, is that conference supremacy is cyclical. Now, some cycles are longer than others, but it always ends up being cyclical. The SEC, they had their dominance for, the late 2000s into the 2010s. It seems like the Big Ten, their dominance is about to start, basically right now. So they've overtaken the SEC. Before that, the ACC was one of the dominant conferences in the country. And back when USC and Oregon and, Arizona and Arizona State were all firing up, there's the Pac-12, which sadly no longer exists. But again, this is a cyclical game.
Yeah.
And I understand that there's been a lot of conference realignment. A lot of the blue blood programs have moved to different conferences, namely the Big Ten and the SEC. So the cycles might be shorter for some of these other conferences. But now with NIL, as we've seen, that has more leveled the playing field for some of these, um, for some of these for these other P4 conferences for both the ACC and the Big 12.
Mhm.
Before NIL, you never would have had Arizona State possibly almost beating Texas to advance, in a college football playoff. You wouldn't have had teams like SMU making the playoff. So, I think that it's quite frankly, it's playing scared. It's playing scared is what it is.
Exactly.
It's trying to have your cake and eat it too. Like if like you said, if you win your games and you play a tough schedule and you do what you need to do on the field, there's no discussion. You're making the playoff. That's the bottom line.
So right here, so Jam says Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn
Glad you
State.
pulled this up. I was going to do the same.
Yep, being regularly. Who's the fourth? Sometimes Michigan, then who? Who's over there? Whoever deserves.
Yeah.
Whoever. I'll put it this way, Jam. Whoever deserves to be there. Whoever's going through their Big Ten schedule and winning their games. And,
Yep.
And like, go ahead, Ryan. What do you want to say? This?
Well, no. What I was going to say is, most years it is going to be a combination of, I think, Michigan, USC, and I think, there's going to be a rotation of teams such as Wisconsin, once they get their offensive game, back on track. Iowa,
Nebraska.
they're good every 1 or 6 years. Maybe Nebraska, Michigan State, if they can ever get their program back in order. But again, just because those first 3 teams are likely going to be in the playoff almost every year, but if there is a 4th team that is not deserving, they shouldn't be shoehorned in. Like if there's if Michigan or Illinois is going to lose 4 games and they're still going to get in the playoff, that's nonsense. That's taking away a spot from a team in the Big 12 or the ACC who could actually have a chance of advancing in the playoff. Because 14 Big 10 team, they're going to get smoked by whoever they play. I mean, let's just face it. And that's that's especially true if Notre Dame gets in and takes in one of the auto bids, which they should do almost every year with the type of schedule that they play. What do you think?
No, I gave my opinion. I just
as far as like teams that you think would likely fill in that rotation.
I agree with you. I think it'll be a rotation. Maybe about a year ago, I put out a post, and it got a lot of traction to the point where Rich Eisen laughed at it. But what I said was that it'd be like Ohio State and Oregon will separate themselves from the Big Ten, and then you'll have like the Penn States, the Michigans, the Nebraska, the Iowa. They'll fight over what's that 3rd, 4th spot, like you said, regularly. So I agree with you on that. I think that's what it's going to look like. But my problem is, again, and honestly, I'm at least what Christopher says right here. Thanks, Christopher, for giving your opinion here. It says SEC and Big should clearly have 4. And when we say clearly have 4 teams more than any other conferences. No, not if there's. No. Let's play a game here.
Now, maybe I will give maybe, and he can clarify this in chat. Maybe he's saying that every year they should have 4 teams that are deserving based off their resume.
Oh, then maybe. I would agree with Christopher. And actually,
yes. If that's the case, then yes. But go ahead and say if that's not what he meant.
Yeah, that's actually probably what he's saying, because he didn't say automatic bids. So this probably actually is what he's saying. So yes, Christopher, I would agree with you. They should have 4 teams, at least. I mean, but again, like Ryan said, the game is cyclical. Every year, you're not going to have a really good, from top to bottom, your conference is always going to be good. There's a very good chance this season where Oregon, because of their schedule, is going to have 10 to 11 wins. Ohio State is probably going to be in that 10-11, more than likely going to be in that 10-11 range too. Everyone, and then Penn State also, okay? For schedule reasons. Everyone else in the Big Ten, it is not beyond payoff for them to have 4 losses. Everyone else in this conference can easily have 4 losses. Easily. And that's why, again, I am completely against having 4 automatic bids. Because on a year-to-year basis, you are not always going to have 4 of the top 16 teams.
Yep.
There are a lot of seasons, everyone, where you can find the Big Ten not having 4 teams rated in the top 20. Plenty of seasons, plenty of them in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So I just and you know what else they said? Like they said, Ryan Day has to go out and say this. No, the hell he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Let Brett Bielema.
Look what Brian Kelly did. Brian Kelly went off the SEC reservation and said, "Hey, we should play a Big Ten team every year in non-conference." Do you think the rest of the SEC wants to do that? Hell no.
And no, it's aggravating because someone like Brett Bielema, he has to say this. Someone like Matt Rule, he has to say this. Ryan Day does not have to say this for the Ohio State University. And Jam, right here, thank you. It's dollars and that's it. That's the only way. That is the only way it benefits Ohio State. There is nothing else, playoff-wise, seeding-wise, on the field, recruiting. None of this helps Ohio State except for dollar signs. And
well, unfortunately, that's what the sport has become.
It's been to an extent. For my lifetime, at least, it's been that way.
Yeah, it's a sport that chases the money.
Yeah, it is. My problem is that when people start to say it, all the ways it benefits Ohio State. No. It benefits the Nebraskas, the Illinois, the Indianas, the Michigan States, not Ohio State. And that's and that's all I have to say about it. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. By the way, we put the link in at the top of the chat if you guys want to call in. This is your guys' show, so if you guys have any thing you want to say with us, please come ahead, go ahead and join, click that link. Last thing I'll say about this particular topic. I think that if Ohio State, I've seen some people say this, and I know you kind of alluded to this in your opening answer. Mm-hmm. Ohio State doesn't necessarily need the Big Ten, and I've seen Ohio State fans say they should just leave the Big Ten and become an independent if they want their money so bad. No. Let's not do that. That's stupid. That's a slap in the face to the tradition that this program has built with the conference and with college football. That would be stupid.
No, let me be honest. You start to sound like those Wolverine fans last year.
I know that's an absurd take. Yeah, quite frankly, it's absurd. And while we're waiting for some callers to come in,
and I'm waiting for my guy Darnell.
Okay.
I'm waiting for him because really good guy, but he wants to talk about this. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can table that discussion. I want to hear your thoughts on what happened with the University of Florida and their recent vote for their president, and what happened with Santaono. While we're talking about Michigan here, for those who don't know, they voted against having him as their president. I know a lot of it has to do with political stuff, which I don't really want to talk about, but I do think it's hilarious that there could be some football reasons in there too, where he's just trying to escape some sanctions for what the university is going to get from their cheating scandal, and now he's really got nowhere to run to. So I find that hilarious.
Look. It's hard for me to say that I think it has something to do with football.
No, it definitely does not. Mostly it does not.
I will stay away from the rest of it.
Yeah.
Which is not easy for me to do. I mean, the truth of the matter is he's been code switching politically. That's all I'm gonna say. And it looks like he looks like a mercenary where if dollars make sense, and he will be whatever you need him to be.
What's interesting is now what does he do? Like, does he go back to Michigan because he wanted to leave and they don't seem to want him back? What does he do?
Go be the super fan you are. Get season tickets and go to the games.
Yeah, probably right.
If you can't get a job, I mean, I'm sorry, everybody, but I'm a realist here, and then I pay taxes. If after the number one public university in the country lets you go, and then Florida lets you go. I don't know where else there is to go.
Yeah.
And again, like I don't even blame him for what happened in Ann Arbor. I think he has his own reasons, but I thought they did also for letting him go. But when I mean, man, it sounds like the ink was still wet by the time they let you go down in Gainesville. So
Yeah, that was a
it's
bit of a
bad look.
miscalculation.
It's a bad look. Again, I will say this: I do believe, on top of the political situation that was going on at the University of Michigan, I do think Santa Ono looked at what was going on at the University of Michigan politically, also, but then also seeing that he is the AD. And a lot of Wolverine fans have this weird misconception that the AD is only worried about, I'm sorry, the president is only worried about football. The president has many more things on his mind than football, maybe about 200 more things, and that's being nice before he gets to football. And on top of that, when you look at what was going on in the athletic program, which is one of the other reasons why I think it's insane that they get on board manual like this. Over the last few years, the University of Michigan has also had a baseball problem, or baseball scandal where they let go of their coach. They let go of their hockey coach because he was passing out fake COVID cards to his players during that time. So, and on top of that, your football program, you had Coach Sharon Moore seeing coaches during a dead period during the COVID period. So, I mean, there's a lot of other things going on at the University of Michigan.
Oh, that they had a pedophile as their offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah. There's that all. Well, not just that. No, not a pedophile. A guy that's committing federal crimes on his laptop by hacking.
Federal crimes.
There's a lot of things out there going on for the University of Michigan, but I mean, hey Santa, man, I think you should chill out and go buy some veneers for your teeth.
Yeah. So I know, like I said before, a lot of it's mainly political, but I still find it very funny that this is something that's happening with there. So again, while we wait for some callers here, there is something that actually one of our commenters put in the chat that is something that I would like to talk to you about as well, and that's ESPN's FBI.
Yeah.
And for those that didn't see this, ESPN has 3 SEC teams ranked before their first Big Ten team, and only 3 Big Ten teams in their total. For those that don't know, they have Texas, they have Georgia, and they have Alabama as their top 3 teams. Ohio State then comes in at 4th. First of all, that's ridiculous. I'll get to that in a second. Okay. But you look at the rest of their rankings. As I mentioned, they only have 3 Big Ten team rankings in there. Ohio State is 4th. They have Penn State at 5th. And I believe they have Oregon either at 7 or 8. I'm pulling it up as we speak.
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Okay.
Right here.
So it's, quite frankly, it's very clear that ESPN does have that SEC bias. Yeah, they have Oregon at 6th. And then a whole lot of nothing else in the Big Ten except for Michigan. They're 17th. And I guess USC. I don't really understand how – I understand this is supposed to be analytics that make this FPI up. But if you look at the analytics that they have listed on there, Ohio State is higher in the analytics than Alabama in every single analytic except the percent chance to win the national championship, in which they are both tied. So I don't really understand how they can justify putting an Alabama team who, lost 3 games last year in the regular season, end up being ahead of an Ohio State team that's coming off a national title. Don't get it. Don't understand it. And it's just clear that ESPN's kind of gone full turn into all things SEC. What are your thoughts?
So, what FPI has to do with a lot of recruiting rankings, wins over the last 5 to 10 years, I believe. Other things. All right, I'll point out everything I think is wrong here. Alabama, I can understand Georgia at 2 because of the talent around them. Alabama at 3, I'm against. I think they should be further. I think they should be down for this upcoming season, but I get why they're there because of FPI. Texas A&M, no. That is one of the most. That has been one of the most talented teams over the last 5 years, and it doesn't work. No matter who the coach is, it doesn't work. So that Miami, I can see that. I'm okay with that. Tennessee, no.
I mean,
Clemson,
Miami's got Carson Beck now. Like that's got talent. Tennessee being that high? Come on.
no, like Tennessee ahead of Clemson, LSU, ahead of South Carolina is crazy to me. I don't even think they should be ahead of Oklahoma.
You and I have we've had our arguments about Oklahoma.
Yeah, and you know, and time will tell. Time will tell them that. But I mean, I'm stuck on this Nebraska thing. I mean not Nebraska, Tennessee thing. Today I would pick Nebraska, Arizona State, Kansas State, USC, Florida, Michigan, Oklahoma, South Carolina, LSU, and Clemson. So 10 teams. I think they would all beat Tennessee.
Yeah. I also don't really understand the fact that Tennessee, I mean, first of all, they got a brand new starting quarterback, and they didn't think they were going to have that this spring. Like, they just found that out. Dylan Sampson's gone. Like, they've lost their best running back. It's not like the wide receivers were anything.
I think Peyton's gonna be better than him.
So you don't like Dylan Sampson because he was really good for most of last year until Ohio State.
He led the college football in fumbles last season.
Okay. Regardless.
Yeah, that as a running back, don't drop my football. He does that.
Well, of course. But regardless, I don't see them being better than what they were last year.
No.
And I certainly don't see them being better than a lot of the other teams that are ranked behind them. I think it's clearly disrespectful to South Carolina to put them below Tennessee. I think it's disrespectful. I mean, you ran through the teams. You ran through a lot of the teams. I'm not going to go through it again. It's ridiculous. Also, the sheer number of
13
SEC teams that they have on here
13
is a joke. Also, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Nebraska's not the 25th best team in the country. They're not. I'll say that.
Again, so it is crazy that there's 13 SEC teams on here. Like, I agree with you and Jam.
13 of the 16 SEC teams on there. That's a joke. It's a joke.
Not when you're using analytics.
You know why? Because the SEC is inflated with those analytics. They have an overinflated sense of how good they are. That's how these analytics have them up so high.
Over the last, so again, so FPI takes in like the last 10 years. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know why Arkansas is there.
Arkansas isn't shit.
No, it's crazy.
Also, what exactly has Missouri? If you're taking it 10 years, what has Missouri done?
Nothing.
What have they done? They won one Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. Congrats. What did they do all of the other years?
I think I can make a better argument for Iowa than you make for Arkansas.
Maybe. Except Iowa's offense has been a disgusting, gross mess for 5 of those 10 years, but their defense been damn good.
We'll see what they look like with the new quarterback. We'll see what they look like.
Yeah. No, I think this is a joke of a list, quite frankly.
And you know, this part right here, because analytically, Illinois should be a top 15 team.
Yes.
They returned one of the, I would say, 10 best. I think he's one of the 10 best returning quarterbacks from last season, Luke Altmaier.
I think they have. I think I'm going to go ahead and look this up. If I remember correctly, Illinois has like the most returning production. Yeah, they had the third most returning production in the FBS for the 2025 season. They returned 76% of that production, and they won 10 wins, and they won 10 games last year.
And
there's no reason they shouldn't be on this list.
Who did they beat last year?
Illinois.
Yeah.
This is who they beat last year. This was their schedule last year. They played some pretty darn good teams. First of all, we all remember what they did in the bowl game, which was, they beat South Carolina, a team that many were stumping for to get into the playoff. But they beat Eastern Illinois. They beat a ranked Kansas team. They were ranked at the time. Beat Central Michigan. Won at Nebraska. They beat Purdue. They beat Michigan. They beat Michigan State, Rutgers, Northwestern, and South Carolina, as I mentioned. Their only losses at Penn State, at Oregon, home against Minnesota in a rivalry game.
Yeah, I don't get why they're.
And you returned 76% of the production from that team.
Yeah, I don't get why they're not on here. It's really confusing. I think that Illinois is one of the top 15 teams in the country. I think they're going to the playoff this season.
Yeah.
Which part of that has to do with their schedule, but they have some good games on there, like at Indiana. That'll be a quality win. As of right now, I believe that'll be a quality win. I think they have USC on their schedule also.
They do. So this is their Big Ten schedule, because their non-conference schedule is not going to really do anything for them, because they play Western Illinois, Duke, and Western Michigan. That's when you got two directional schools in there. That's not great.
You know what? That depending on what happens, that Duke win might be good by the end of the season.
Maybe. Their two toughest games by far are at IU and home against Ohio State. Mm-hmm. They're definitely probably going to lose an Ohio State game. Maybe they got a chance to win against IU. But their other tougher games, they've got USC at home. They've got a game at Washington and at Wisconsin. Those three games are going to be interesting. Other games on their schedule, they've also got at Purdue, win. Home against Rutgers, probably a win. Home against Maryland, probably a win. Home against Northwestern, probably a win. So the schedule sets up pretty nicely for them.
Yeah, like I said, I don't get it. Again, yeah. I think ESPN's analytics, and understandably so, they lean towards the SEC.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't fix my hat right now. There we go. They lean towards the SEC. I do think that because it also takes in talent acquisition, the SEC overall has more talent. I don't think they have better teams, but they have better talent. Like I said, yeah, it looks weird.
Yeah.
All right.
They're gonna do some reading before we keep going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody, some housekeeping here. Please get your business, product, service, or personal brand to the next level by partnering with the Voice of College Football. Let's discuss how you also can reach your target market. Check out the experience of one of our current partners, that being Win Agency, posted here on the screen. We are here to deliver for you. Contact us at sponsorships@vocfb.com. Again, that's sponsorships@vocfb.com today.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link, and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.
Just a reminder, right? Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Ryan, well, first of all, shout out to our guy Bergs here. What's going on, man? Good to see you. I want to bring this to your attention. So I'm not sure if you saw, but on the Buckeye Brigade, Mike, Brandon, and I came up with our so far all Ryan Day team.
Okay.
Now there were some we had a 2-3 majority if there was if we didn't know who we wanted to pick, or we had different guys, of course. But this right here is what we came up with. Do you have any problems with it?
Let me take a look here. So I do have some thoughts. Just looking at it right now.
And by the way, the kick returner is downs.
You said what?
You can't see it, but the kick returner is downs.
Okay. I like how you just have 2019 kicker.
Yeah,
like you don't have.
We found out who it was, but I forgot the name.
Yeah, it's Blake Hobbill.
Yeah, I actually thought about. I said Jaden Fielding. I said screw it.
No, Hobbill's the right
He
call.
came in clutch when he needed to.
He did, but he also missed two huge kicks.
I wouldn't call it clutch.
Yeah, no. Okay, so let me get to some thoughts here. So, I would have as the first thing, I am okay with your quarterback. I think Stroud is probably the right call. I think running back, I would actually have Henderson over Judkins. I think Henderson was better overall than Quinshon, but Dobbins is a starter. Dobbins is the best running back on Ryan Day's team, so I'm fine with that. I'm looking at the center spot because Seth McLaughlin, he did win the Remington. However, he got hurt 8 games into the year. He didn't finish a complete season for Ohio State,
which says a lot. He won the Remington.
Yeah, no, that says how good he is for sure. But I'm wondering if they're, if you might want to put, a different member of Ryan Day's teams, on in there instead. Like McLaughlin is obviously very good, but I'm thinking back to some of the, to some of the other guys that we had under Day. Josh Myers comes to mind.
That was one. That was the other name I thought of. Yeah.
Josh Myers is who I think should probably man that spot. I think it's close, but I think Josh Myers should be up there. Other than that, the only other issue that I have is at linebacker. Cody Simon. I don't think he should be on that list. He was very good last year. That was about it.
There's not a lot of linebackers to choose from in Ryan Day's.
No, there aren't. But
the one I had got left off.
And who did you have?
Pete Werner.
Yeah, Pete. That's exactly who I was thinking. It's Pete Werner. That's the guy. That's who I think should be there.
Well, the two I had, right? So I ended up saying, you know what? Because of the year that Simon had, I could understand it. But the original two that I had written down was Pete Werner and Sonny Styles, simply because I believe Sonny is just more gifted than everybody else.
Okay. Yeah, I think Pete Werner. I mean, that's the first guy I thought of when I saw the linebacker list. I have him over Malik Harrison too, quite frankly.
Yeah.
He was really solid. I agree. Oh yeah, and you know what? This actually is the biggest issue I have on the entire list. This issue right here. Damon Arnett should not be anywhere near this freaking list.
I agree.
Damon Arnett is the cockiest bad cornerback that somehow he tricked the Raiders into drafting him in the first round. Every play seemed to like, oh, the ball was overthrown, incomplete. I did something. No, the quarterback just made a bad throw, or the wide receiver made the wrong route. The ball wasn't anywhere near that. There's no way he should be on that list. Give me, there's all kinds of cornerbacks that you could take instead of him. Give me, I mean, hell, you know what?
For Nickelback?
Give me, well, no, just regular quarterback. Hell, you know, and this might be a hot take. I would even take Davis Niganosin over him right now. Now, I'm not saying he should be on this list, but I would take him over Damon Arnett. I'm specifically thinking of if you have to give me another name, Shaun Wade. Okay, he's their nickelback. He's the nickelback. All right.
I didn't have Shaun Wade on here. No.
Shaun Wade's on the he's there in the nickelback. He should be on there.
No, he shouldn't. Wait, hold on. You think he was better? Let me ask this question. Do you believe he was better at nickel than last year? Shoot, I shouldn't be forgetting his name. Nickelback last year.
Then Jordan Hancock? Yeah.
Jordan Hancock. You think he was better than Jordan Hancock?
I do.
Oh no.
He was he was a consensus All-American.
I think he was a product of what was on the defensive line and who was on the outside. On the outside, on the defensive line, you had the best player in the Big Ten and possibly in college, one of the best players in college football, who was in the Heisman ceremony. And at the corner position, you had probably the best cornerback duo of the last 5 years, and Kuda, who didn't have one penalty called to him all season.
I don't know.
And then next year, Shaun Wade sucked ass.
He wasn't great.
He wasn't great. Do you remember that Clemson game?
He wasn't great.
He was bad. He was less than average.
I think that he should be on that list. Just miss me with Damon Arnett. I even put Denzel Burke on there because he plays well against everybody not named Oregon.
I had Burke on mine.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, that's the biggest issue I have. Everybody else there, I am okay with. I mean, maybe some quibbles. I could throw out some names as far as like the defensive tackles, but I mean, other than that, I'm okay with those guys being up there.
Oh yeah, I had a big problem. Like I got voted on this, but I had a big problem with Jack Sawyer being there. I had a big problem with that.
The only reason I don't have an issue with him being on there is because he made one of the greatest plays in Ohio State history.
That's got nothing to do if you haven't been. At no point in his career was he ever better than JTT. At no point. And that's a fact. That can't even be argued.
I disagree. I think there were times, quite frankly, I think they were both about the same. I don't think either one of them was significantly better than the other. I'll say this way. JTT's highs were higher. Like when JTT was on, he was way better. But he wasn't high enough. Like Jack Sawyer was more consistent.
We'll put this down for a second. I'm gonna bring Burks. That just.
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring in our caller.
Yeah, the high second round pick and the fourth, fifth round pick. All right, the guy who has
JTT's playing for my Colts, so
the guy who has all the athletic ability in the world, and the guy who has no moves, no spin move, no burst, no hand movement, none of that. JTT is as good as.
And yet Sawyer's just there to make plays. Got the goal line interception against Michigan. Got the fumble return for a touchdown.
JTT has more plays in one game than Jack Sawyer had in his career.
That Penn State game was great. Like I said, his highs were higher.
Oh, man. Burks, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going, dude? Ryan and Garrison, what's up?
I'm good, man. Yourself?
Going good. Although last time you had some things to say in the chat while Garrison was out. You were ragging on the audience a little bit when it was just me on here.
What happened?
What happened? Wait, what did I
Bruce,
say?
did you come in here and troll?
Oh,
No.
he come in. Oh, look at the audience. You got 5 people here on YouTube. Look at the views here. Early on in the show.
Was that you?
That was Burks.
Was it? Oh yeah, it was me because I was like drunk as shit. My bad. My bad, dude. I was really drunk.
Burks, you sound like Maniac when you say something like that.
Dude, my bad, man. I was drunk as hell, dude. I remember now. Yeah, my bad. I was super, super drunk. Yeah.
Also, yes, I am a Pacers fan. Go Pacers. My day job is why I'm actually got to cover the game later, which is why we moved up the show a half hour. So,
that's
what do you
cool.
got for us?
Cool, man. Yeah, no. So like the verdict, man, the next 2 days, like Friday, Saturday, like I'm just wondering, like I'm gonna put this question to Garrison because but what's your prediction about this? Like I know like we don't have like a what was I saying? We won't know after like 45 days apparently, or even next year what the punishment is. But do you guys like? I know Garrison, you don't like to talk about this punishment stuff because it'll just piss my fan base off. I don't really care because those fan base of mine, they're scum. Okay, on YouTube, they're not true Michigan men like me. Okay, they're not. All right, they're not Michigan men like me. They don't care about their university. They don't care about what's going on. They praise Connor Stallings like he's some god, which I still don't get to this day. Right?
No one does.
No one does. So I'm just curious now, right? And that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to be the messiah, right? If you join me, you come to me and you're like, oh, Burks, I want you to save me. I can turn you into a Michigan man. There's only 2 types of fans in the Michigan fan base: scum and Michigan man. And guess what? On YouTube and Twitter, most of them are scum. I've come to that conclusion. And so what I'm trying to say is, what is your guys' prediction of Michigan's punishments? Just because they're right now crying about our O-line and stuff, we're not getting good recruits lately. Do you guys feel like there could be a big punishment coming?
No.
Really?
I've consistently said this, and I'll remain. But I will. Here, I'll tell you this. I think there's only going to be suspensions for coaches. I think there'll be probably the largest fine you've seen in college football history. I think that there will be a scholarship reduction, and I just saw that Michigan self-sanctioned some recruiting official visits from themselves. So I saw that. But,
that's not going to do anything.
Yeah, if anything, well, depends if the kid wants to go there. He can't get there, and then the other school has the OB, and they outshine Michigan on the OB because you don't have your OB, you don't get the kid. So then it does work. That does affect. But the biggest thing that can come from this is this, I think, Bert. When you look back at the coaches that currently have no show causes, right?
Yeah.
Every single one of them, and I talked to TJ about this. Every single one of them got that for something less than what Sharon Moore is about to get, which is being a new offender. So, or a repeat offender, right? With that being known, common sense tells me Sharon Moore should get that. He should get that show cause. Now, you can't get a show cause in the current season. So what that means is that would be Sharon Moore would get the show cause the next season. There is no reason to hold on to a coach who has a show call who can't be your coach next season. There'd be no reason to hold on to him. So you would have to fire him. So I agree. That's the biggest thing I think that can come from this is Michigan has to let go of their coach either next season or what I believe you would have to do is get rid of him this season because there's no reason to have Sharon Moore coach this year and sit out next season. So
I don't see them vacating the national championship, which I know that's what a lot of Ohio State fans want. I don't see that happening. I do see them vacating wins, possibly into the 2023 season, but I don't think it'll be, if anything, they would stop halfway through the year once this investigation started. I think those wins past that in the national championship will likely stay intact. But I don't see the quote unquote hammer coming down that a lot of people, specifically at Ohio State, are hoping for. I don't even necessarily see a show cause coming for Sharon Moore. I do think a lengthy suspension could happen. I could see them suspending him for, um, 10 games, maybe even a full season, and then he'd come back. But to your point, it would be then up to Michigan to determine what they're going to do with a guy who was suspended for that long and whose only year without, Harbaugh really propping up the program. He won 6 games he won 7 games in the regular season. So that will remain to be seen. I see reductions in scholarships. I see reductions in visits. I don't see Ohio State fans getting all that they want. And I certainly don't see most of Michigan fans getting where they want, where they just want to slap on the wrist with this self-suspension for Marone for 2 games that aren't even the Oklahoma game. But that's a joke. That's a joke. I don't think they're going to get what they want either. So I think, and usually when two sides don't get what they want, that's generally the right decision.
I'm at a point, dude, where it's like both sides of like Michigan and Ohio State, like the Buckeye Scoop and those people, and then the, Ballas and all these people, they're so confident, dude, that something's going to happen like for Ohio State side, and then in the Michigan side, nothing's going to happen. They're both so confident to the point where it's like, I can't even make a decision, man. Like if it's just like, who the hell do you believe in? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're saying like, oh, vacating wins and bowl ban, but I do feel that now I think the vacating title is off the board. I think they're more into the vacating wins and bowl ban, the Buckeye Scoop and those people. But it's just like, dude, it's like, at the end of the day, man, whatever happens, dude, I'm at a point where like, listen, man, we cheated, okay, and we need to own up to our mistakes. Whatever punishment we get, all right? We have to move on. But stop being like, they're going to play the victim card if we get like punished, my fan base. And this is what I hate. It's like, dude, why are you making this guy into kind of sounds like a god? These Michigan YouTube channels don't get it, man. They don't get it, all right? He is going to destroy our program. He's destroying our recruiting already. People are negative recruiting us, dude.
Oh, that's been a while.
Yeah.
But
this is interesting. This is interesting news that you just pulled up here, Garrison, about Evan Stewart. If that's true, that's a true bummer for Oregon, and that's a massive hit.
Oh man, I wonder how that happened, man. Because like it says right here, like this is a draft year for him. It was supposed to be his breakout season.
It had to have been like some off-season workout. Yeah.
That affects the season. I mean, because their schedule's still easy.
Yeah,
but it'll be a lot of young guys getting ticked. I know they have 2 or 3 juniors and seniors outside of East on that team at wide receiver. So
yeah, Burks, I got a question for you. Well, once you react to this news, what do you think about this?
What, the Evan Stewart?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know who he is. Oh, I don't even know.
Burks, I'll tell you who he is. He's
a receiver. He's like the best receiver.
I'll tell you who he is. Evan Stewart is the guy who took all the Diddy oil and went crazy on Denzel Burke. That's what happened.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Yeah. But he's probably their best offensive player.
Without a doubt.
But I did have a question for you. How do you feel about that Tony Alford hire now?
Oh, the Michigan? Oh man, like it's not good, dude. Like if you get Savion a hitter, hider, then it's good. I guess he can recruit somewhat, right? But like in terms of like, he's not like terrible, but he's not like I kind of like Mike Hart better, honestly. We'll have to see. But like I was saying, man, was this like, Connor Sanders is like, because of his bullshit, we're getting affected. Our recruiting is getting affected. These college YouTubers don't understand, these Michigan fan YouTubers, right? Like, why do they praise him? I don't understand, dude.
Burks, I remember, and I asked, like, because I know TJ loves them, and guys like Steve Deese love them.
Yeah, they're.
And so
Yeah.
I remember I was listening to Rich Eisen.
Oh, I hate that clown. That clown is trying to
Yeah.
destroy the reputation of our program by just saying stupid stuff.
Well, Rich Eisen.
Yeah.
This is what Rich Eisen said, and he said this multiple times now over the last year. He hates that Connor Stallion's name is attached to his university. And I asked that to a bunch of Wolverine fans because I said, I live in this state. I actually know what the definition of a Michigan man is. It means you actually went to the school, or you played you went to the school. And so I asked, when you have a real Michigan man like Rich Eisen going out and saying that he hates this guy being attached to the university, why do you like it's the I'll tell you who, it's the lunatic fringe of Wolverine fans who for some odd reason want this guy attached to them, mind you, because people forget the United States Marines are actually owned and subsidized by the U.S. Navy. Honor and courage. There ain't none of that in what he did. None of that. So no, it's weird. And again, this one guy, at no point should a low-level staffer at a blue blood be able to take your program down like this.
No, not get the game ball. That's the crazy part. Like, you're getting the game ball. Who gives the game ball to a low staffer, dude?
Not a soul. Not Ryan.
You see why I'm investigating this more and more, and a lot of my fan base isn't investigating this. Like, I'm only investigating it because I actually love University of Michigan. These guys don't care about University of Michigan. I've come to that conclusion. Because if you're putting your thumbnail as Connor Stallions on it and you're naming a membership, like, what is this crap, dude? That's where I'm getting mad and frustrated.
Oh, the Connor Stallions espionage team?
Yeah, what the hell is that, dude?
I mean,
all right.
I get, bro. Listen, well, Burks, here's the truth of the matter, right? Here's the truth of the matter.
Here, hold up. Before you do that, I just want to say I gotta head out. I got a game to cover here.
All right, take care.
Please do us all a favor and beat OKC. God,
that's the goal. That's the goal. We'll see if we can do it. I'll see you on Monday, Garrison. And thanks for calling in, Burks. I'll see you guys.
All right, take care. I apologize for getting drunk and talking trash. My bad.
It's all good.
Okay, all right. I was really drunk. My bad. Yeah.
I got it. See you.
Yeah, Burks. The thing is that there's a large section of your fan base that loves him, that adores him, and so TJ doing that. Listen, I got that. That's probably just more of a marketing thing. But like I said, TJ does love the guy. And I have told TJ countless times, I disagree with him on it. I think he's insane for it. I think it does nothing good for your program to push and hype up a guy like that. Because again, I've said this about multiple times. If Ohio State had a Connor Stallions in their program, I would be livid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, you look at what Terrell Pryor hasn't even visited Ohio State, like, ever since that tattoo gate. Your fans would kill him. It makes no sense. Like, your fans are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, why Michigan? It's like, okay, no, I have a conspiracy, like, something about it, right? I feel like, you see, Michigan has a lot of, like, out-of-state people who come to Michigan, and they're from like states like New York and all these rich states. Yeah. They're from like rich New York states, New Jersey and
upstate New York,
Connecticut, and all of these it's not. And so when they go to university, they're like, they kind of think of Michigan like a it's like a professional team, they don't think, they never were born as Michigan fans. They never cared about the values. They just
don't have any college there.
Exactly. With Ohio State, you guys have a lot of in-state grads who were Ohio State kids when they were in the beginning, when they were kids, and then they went to Ohio State. Like, you have, I think 70% of your, like people go to Ohio State are from Ohio, right?
Not
So they learn the values of like the Midwest values and stuff. And so when they see the type of stuff, they get mad.
First, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Me and you both know right now you ain't getting Midwest nothing at the University of Michigan.
Oh no, you're not, dude. Because when you have Joe's Pizza and these like New York pizza places opening in Michigan, they're trying to make it like it's some New York City stuff, dude. I know. I'm not stupid.
We have our own pizza in Michigan. It's called Detroit style, damn it.
Dude, there is Detroit style there too. It's just like they're opening Joe's Pizza New York because there's so many New York people. So they don't care really much. And that's my issue. I think that's what's happening is a lot of the Michigan fans, right? They think of it and they go there. They don't really they just think of it like, oh, okay, if they do this stuff, who cares? As long as they win a national championship, I'm too busy making money. But Ohio State, man, they care too much about the program and they don't like bad stuff. I think it's something that I'm starting to think of but I don't know, dude. It's just, I'm really mad and I just don't understand why my fan base, they don't take it seriously, and, if we get any punishments, man, all you guys who think Connor Stalions is some damn god, well, here you go, man. Here's your punishment if we get a punishment. Now, what is your savior going to do, dude?
No, I'll leave it at this. Someone I really admire in the way they've approached this. And one's because very rarely, if ever, does he let his bias get in the way of Sam from College Football with Sam. Everyone, if you aren't already, go ahead and like, subscribe to his channel. My favorite Big Ten channel there is. Longtime fan, listen to him. He's been on. I've done his show a few times, twice actually.
Yeah.
But, he said it from the get-go. Michigan cheating is point blank. He hasn't, and I like if I was you, Bergs, I would watch his show and just ask him about it because he has flat out said multiple times that they've cheated. They should get punished for it. Now I think he's about where I am on what the punishment should be. Again, the whole Sharon Moore show cause thing. I didn't say that should happen. I said I can see it happen. Or no, actually, no, I think it should happen based off of what happened to the other coaches who got show calls doing less, right? Like if me and you, Berks, go to a store, okay?
Yeah.
And you get caught for stealing a shirt, and I go and you steal a shirt from the store and get a sentence. If I go there and steal an ATM out of the store, I'm gonna get a worse sentence than you, correct? Or at least the same. So that's how I look at it. But of course, like Ryan says, there's a really good chance that probably won't happen. But no, I think it's that, man. I think it's also that Ohio State cares so much about their program that they won't let this happen. I mean, you gotta think about it, man. Our three greatest coaches have been fired or pushed out the door. Woody Hayes hit a player, we fired him. Jim Tressel lies to the NCAA. We didn't have to fire him, but we fired him. Urban Meyer. Now, based on what you believe, he left. He was pushed out. And no one's ever going to be bigger than the brand. No one's ever going to.
Wait, why did Urban Meyer get pushed out? Why did Urban Meyer? Was it the Zach Smith stuff?
Well, it derived from that, but that was not something for him to get fired for. And I think Urban Meyer got a lot of unnecessary heat on him for something that's not honestly his problem. Not being completely honest.
All right, because that's a conspiracy right there of why he left. Why did he leave? I'm still to this day, I'm kind of like, what the hell, man? Did he actually there was something I felt like that played a role on that. But yeah.
And truth be told, now hindsight is 2020, but I'm happy he left. Because our football program's in a better spot than when he had it.
Yeah.
But I look at those things, right? When I found, Ryan Day is 1-4 against you guys. But for Ryan Day, he's his first season, he goes to the college football playoff. The second season, he goes to the national championship. Like he's having a lot of success every single year, right?
Yeah.
So the 1-1 national championship, so the 1-4 record can kind of it could be not understood, but okay. Yeah. Jim Harbaugh had 2 seasons under 10 wins and was 0-5 against Ohio State University and still kept his job. There is not an Ohio State coach that could go through that and keep their job after 5 years. And then you lead into the 2020 year where he goes 2-4, was it? No Ohio State coach can survive that. But Jim Harbaugh did. And that's when I realized that Jim Harbaugh is bigger than his own damn program. Just like Bo Schembechler was. And I believe Michigan is one of those programs where their coaches are bigger than their program.
And that's what I hate about it, dude. Like, they give so much credit to these guys. Look, let's be real here, man. I'm going to say it, but Jim Harbaugh, man, he didn't really love Michigan that much. Like, he loved Michigan in the beginning, dude. But, like, let's be real here, man. In 2021, he tried to get out of Michigan. And I'm grateful that he won a championship. I'm never going to, like, go on Twitter and say bad stuff and all that stuff. I'm not that type of guy. I would be a sore loser. I wouldn't even be a Michigan fan if I did something like that. But I'll say this, man. He wanted to get out of Michigan. This whole, the fans always complaining like, it was Wardy Mount. No, dude, he wanted to go to the NFL either way. And you could just see after the 2021 season when he had a great season, he tried to go to Vikings. He tried doing interviews, all this stuff. He wanted to get out.
After he said he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
He did it 3 more times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He did not like it.
Hey, babe, I'm sorry I cheated on you. I won't do it again. That's what he did.
And now, dude, like, he just, like, barged out. Oh, he's never coming back to Michigan, and it's just, like, man, it's just, like, and then the stuff they're saying, like, I never do this, that, like, you are the CEO of your program. You did not, when he did a press conference with the Chargers and said, I'm not doing any apology, any of that stuff. It's like, dude, come on, dude. Like, you, at the end of the day, you're the CEO. You have to apologize for all this crap that happened, right? With the Connor Stallion stuff. And, it's just, I don't know, dude. And, the recruiting violations. And it's hurting our program in the future. Like, our recruiting right now is not doing that great. I wonder why.
Oh, so I'm on a track. I'm tracking something right now because I won't say who it was, but I had a conversation with TJ. Okay.
Yeah.
And this was just me and him on.
I like TJ. TJ's a smart guy, but I want him to become into my side. Like, I'm trying to do a revolution.
I want him to be on that side, but he won't. I want him to. I'll be over
and
there.
Johnny too. Johnny's a smart guy, but like, he at the same time, it's just like, there's some stuff I don't like what he does on his channel, but it's fine. I'm not going to get there.
No,
but like I was saying,
but I think that when it's all said and done, man, because I think we're all tired of the story. All want it to end. At this point, I think the university should just let it happen. I wouldn't fight it again. What they did, like suspending Sharon Moore, they could have done this a year ago. You could have just took it on the chin, right?
Yeah,
they didn't do it, and a lot of people like my friend Bryce Sack, they said the NCAA doesn't have power. Okay. And I kept telling people that, like, if you really want to believe they have no power, be my guest. Everybody isn't Tennessee, okay? Mind you, Tennessee taking the NCAA to court over Nico. How did that pan out? You did all that shit for nothing. Like, so we'll see where it goes, man. But Burks, man, I appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Just trying to start a revolution. And, I just only go on channels now with no Michigan fans because I want to spread my revolution of,
the anti-Connor Stallion.
Exactly, man. So everyone can join. Right now, everyone hates me. It's fine. But they'll realize, man. They'll realize that I'm right and they're all wrong.
I want to, Burks, before you leave, okay?
Yeah.
I'll read everyone else. This is a book I'm reading called "Our Iceberg is Melting" by John Cotter of Harvard University. Okay.
Yeah.
And I had starred this in the book, put a corner on it. It says Fred, Lewis, and Alice were certainly not aware of it. It's about penguins figuring out that the ice is broken and how to make changes, right?
Yeah.
It says Fred, Lewis, and Alice were certainly not aware of it. Professional change experts, they were not. But by reducing complacency and increasing urgency, they they had taken exactly the right first step and potentially saving the colony. That's what you're doing. That's what you're taking the first right step to saving everyone from the Connor Stallions espionage team. So I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, man. And good luck to your season, and good luck to you, and whatever the heck you're doing. And yeah, appreciate it for having me on, man. Take care.
Take care.
Yeah, take care.
All right, everybody. Well, that is tonight's show again. We started at 7:30 today, but if you would like to call in, please do so. We start the show at 8 o'clock. We'd love to have you here, hear your thoughts, hear what's going on with your mind about what's going on with Ohio State, whether that be recruiting, on the field. What's going on with the stands. I know, like, Doreen, she told us last on Wednesday that they're not happy at all with the band isn't. The best damn band in the land isn't happy at all with what's going on. But, before I go, because I want to read this real quick from Mike 383, and good to see you, Mike. Thank you for joining here. Bama getting a possible auto bid after losing to Vandy is hilarious. SEC only got 3 in. Let the SEC cry about NIL as poverty Southern school struggle. Yeah, that's what's been happening. I mean, I had a fun conversation with Pete, Pixie and P on X one day, one of the spaces, and we talked about how 10 years ago or so, the Big Ten started, of course, with the contracts they had, and also bringing in the revenue from the Big Ten Network. They were able to go out to programs where they can get out better coaches, and that kind of started uptick in the Big Ten. Then you see where NIL takes over, and I think Nick Saban saw this coming down the pipeline, saw this from the forest from the trees. The Big Ten schools have a lot of money. I think a lot of SEC fans didn't know that, and so no, it's happening. I think that the Big Ten right now has become the better conference. I do believe that the Big Ten has more money. Well, not believe, they do have more money than the SEC, and I think that starting this season, you're going to see the arrival of Big Ten quarterback play surpassing everyone else in the country, specifically the SEC. I really believe that Trench plays more so on the offensive side has. So yeah, man, good comment right there, Mike. Appreciate that for that. Before we go, everybody, just want to give a special shout out to all of our members here at Ohio State at the Voice of College Football. Shout out to Asian Posh, Queen Doreen, AZ Buck Guy, Philly Fan, Ake Rock, where one goes, Matthew Miller, James Williams, Kinetic 615, CW2, Open Mike, Robert Howard. Hope you get to see this man. Know you're working a different shift now, and Steve Hellwagon, who actually wrote an awesome article, everybody, of our interview with Luke Montgomery. If you would like, go ahead and check that out. It's available for everyone to watch. Also, we had an interview with Coach Dirt of SFE, South Florida Express. Go check that out. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun just hearing the inner workings of how SFE goes about their recruiting and how they help these young men become better people and better players. And talks about how, about Ryan Day and Ohio State's success with Brian Hartline and the receivers coming up to Ohio State. So yeah, everyone, again, thank you for watching us. Thank you for coming to the channel. Again, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe to the channel if you like the content that we have. If you have other family members or friends that they're not Buckeyes, we also have teams like the team up north. We have North Carolina. We have Oklahoma. We have Oregon, Miami, Rutgers, even. A lot, and I love the Rutgers channel. They do a lot. They do a good job over there. Everyone does here at the network. So please be sure to check us out. And again, as always, OHIO.